welcome back to Four Brown Chicks. Today, we're going to be talking about something that everyone kind of goes through in one way or another every year around this time. You guessed it, seasonal depression. And me, myself, I feel that my seasonal depression usually kicks in around November 1st. It's kind of like when all the hype goes down about Halloween. Um, I just think as someone who, as an adult, I have not lived at home and I've always lived very, very far away. And so, even when I was living in Arizona, Thanksgiving would come around and it would never be a point for me to go home for Thanksgiving because I had to be right back at work. And Arizona is on the other side of the country. So I think I always just kind of get very sad around this time because, like I've said in previous episodes, my parents are older. And I think sometimes I just get into this like, am I like losing time with them? And then you just start like thinking like, okay, if I'm about to be 30, then how many more Thanksgivings do I even have with my parents? And so I usually kind of just get into that mode around November 1st. That's usually around the time where I don't want to talk on the phone. I hardly reply back to text. I kind of just go to work, come home, um, and find ways to entertain myself so that I don't get down. So I am like a TikTok queen. And those have really been helping me because it kind of just gives myself that own entertainment. Um, and another thing I do is, I mean, I always talk to my parents every day because I have to. But during these times, I really try to talk to them more. My parents also just celebrated 38 years of marriage on Friday. And so me and my sister set up like a Zoom call to do a toast with them and things like that to kind of just keep the holiday spirit and just keep all that more lifted, especially now. And I think throwing COVID in there is just a different level too, that people are going to experience just kind of a different level of seasonal depression this year. So, what are you guys' thoughts on it?
Um, for me personally, seasonal depression, it doesn't hit me hard, but it definitely hits me. I'm someone, I enjoy being outdoors in nature, like grounded, feet in the grass type of girl. So every time where we stay at, we actually experience like a fall and winter season where you can't be outside and you can't ground yourself in nature. So it's always really, really tough for me when the seasons change. And I started to get down. So for some of you who don't know, like signs of seasonal depression could be like oversleeping, loss of appetite, or the opposite, eating more, and really just not feeling happy. Your energy is pretty much down for that season. Um, but it's just something that you really have to work on, making sure you take time to do things that are going to make you happy. And it can be tough, especially if you are around the holidays, whether it's financially related, where, you don't have the money to, spend on Christmas, or like Jazz was kind of mentioning family related, where you are away from your family during the holidays, or maybe you've lost someone around this time. It tends to be tough. Just know that you aren't going through it alone, and make sure you take time out to, really stay grounded, meditate. And just if you can, if it's like a family thing, like Jazz said, make calls, do Zoom, FaceTime, whatever you can to make yourself feel more connected with your loved ones.
I'm with Shani. I can't say that I personally experienced seasonal depression, but I'm aware of how people would experience seasonal depression as far as I feel like this is definitely holidays are definitely a heightened time for emotion, especially for people who like value family and just I like to feel like real joyous around this time of year just because for me, I really do feel like this time of year is about like giving and showing how much you appreciate people and things like that. So I feel like around this time, I do a lot of that. So that's probably why I don't personally get depressed because I'm more so doing the things that I like, which is pouring love and appreciation into people. But I've been thinking about seasonal depression a lot this year because like this year is kind of different because like we have other factors like COVID. A lot of people aren't spending time with their families like they used to be. Some times the holiday family gathering is the highlight that you need. Like, you want to get with your family, you want to play with your cousins, you want to laugh, you want to talk, you want to eat good. Like, that's part of self-care for real. So for a lot of families who won't even be able to get to do that, who obviously may have lost staple family members around this time, who can afford to give gifts and do things like that this year, it's just a lot. So I would say that, like Shani said, I hope that a lot of people are practicing self care in ways that are just things that you can do every single day. Writing in your journal, doing some yoga, meditating, thinking about just writing down the things that you're grateful for, even in the just gratitude in itself is something that I feel like is a mood changer, because when you look around you and you realize how much you actually are grateful for, it does make you feel better. So I just also want people to be aware of their feelings around this time. I feel like a lot of people try to bury their feelings around this time, and that's not good, because all you're gonna do is just be even more sad trying to bottle it in. So if you do find yourself experiencing some seasonal depression, talk about it with somebody, or just do one of those things that I mentioned before, because it's important to address those feelings as well.
Yeah, like Bianca, I myself do not struggle with seasonal depression, but I do have some experience with like just depression in general, and just not letting like little and big events in my life change how I feel about how my life is in general. I think that's like the most important thing when you are going through any sort of depression, is just like Bianca said, really appreciating what is happening in your life. Like, if you guys are familiar with yin and yang, there's like this white and black circle, and on one half is white, on one half is black. There is a small white circle in the black side and a small black circle on the white side, which stands for seeing the good in the bad. So you might feel like you're in a dark place. You might feel like, you just can't get out of it. You don't want to get out of bed. And a lot of times when you're depressed, you don't even realize you are until you start to come out of it. Like, you just kind of start feeling more antisocial, not wanting to do the stuff that you normally do, and like avoiding your feelings, basically, like Bianca said. So the best thing that you can do during that time is just try and focus on the good, like what is working in your life besides the other things. Like, even though you might be missing your family, I've never lived close to my family since I graduated high school, but I made a family with the people that I'm surrounded with, whether at the time it was friends or now that I have my kids. It's just like I try and make the holiday special with just us, even though um, I won't have it with everybody else in my family.
I will say, even though COVID is a, downer on the year, I also think that it's kind of a perk too, because for those people who aren't able to travel, it's kind of like a year where everyone's doing Zoom everything anyway. So I will say I don't feel as left out. Like, I think I used to always be going through Instagram and seeing like the Thanksgiving gatherings, and I'm like, everybody on Zoom this year. So it was so petty. I'm sorry. But no, for real, I think COVID did give the gift, and luckily, we are in a time where we do have technology, where we are able to connect and feel like we are right there with our family. Disney has like watch with a group and just different things to feel connected, even though you're not really there. So keep those things in mind, and just remember to just take care of yourself and put yourself first. And you'll get through it. So let us know if what tactics or things you use to deal with your seasonal depression, if you have it. And we will see you guys in our next video.